Welcome to Pink Kink,
where we are ready to guide you through the wild and wonderful world of kink.
I'm Princess Rara.
And I'm Dara, the Electro Khaleesi.
Whether you are a baby kinkster, a seasoned pro, or just here for the entertainment, Pink Kink will help you level up your kink knowledge.
Join us as we share our own wild, sometimes awkward, but always entertaining experiences and spill the tea from our combined 30-plus years in the private and professional kink worlds.
So grab your favorite flogger or wand.
Thank you.
And buckle up. You'll learn, you'll laugh, and who knows, you might just spit out your coffee.
Let's get this kinky party started.
Want more Pink Kink in your life? Join our Patreon and get ready for a whole lot of kinky fun and exclusive perks.
As a patron, you'll unlock access to our private Discord server where you can connect with fellow kinksters and chat directly with us. You'll also score adorable pink kink stickers and enjoy a monthly behind-the-scenes podcast packed with juicy tidbits we don't share anywhere else. Plus, get sweet discounts at our Etsy shop, Pink Kink Boutique, and on our online classes at Pink Kink Institute.
But wait, there's more.
More?
Our impactful and electrifying Pink Kinksters get extras, such as bonus content and free digital downloads. Oh, and let's not forget, the Pink Standard of patrons will be recognized as producers on both the podcast and on our website, because we couldn't do this without you.
Pink Kink runs on the love and support of our amazing patrons, so join the party today. Visit us at patreon.com/pinkkinkpodcast or click on the link on pinkkinkpodcast.com.
Today's episode is produced by our electrifying Pink Kinksters. Thank you, Jay, Witcherman, Daddy J, Naughty and Nice, Butte Pain, Manda Panda, Cat, Stefan, Shadow Phoenix, Brian, Enchanted Sparrow, The Wombat, Impact Hazard, Twitch, The Midnight Girl, Sinful, J21, Daisy If You Do, Serenity, Belle, Eric, Countess Electra, S'more, Hacksaw, Devoted Knight, 3 a.m. Thoughts,
Crash Override, Spiper No Spiping, Barbie, Navigator Bard, Mr. Pillsbury, Peaches, Mighty Owl, Chaos Monster, Jessa Lady, Jack, Ophelia, Birchbeard, Lady to Kitten, Sadia Lemon, Ben, Noir, Elysium Rose, Avalia, Nora Murapura, Bricks, Wonder Chris, Cheshi, Manders, Swinging Amish, Dark Gaia, Hyper Tarantula, Sunny Bee, Baby Squirrel, Freddie Queen, Kane, Ashley B.
I don't know that I have a shtick.
Oh, I do.
Oh, then by all means, stick away.
At my job, I was talking to somebody and they said, kids these days, they think they're just going to be famous and be influencers and podcasters and all this. And it's just super hard and they're not going to do it well and blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, well, as a famous podcaster, I can tell you, you're correct. It is super fucking hard. And,
yeah, it's not that easy.
No. And I would never, ever in a million years even be a famous podcaster if it wasn't for Rara running everything behind the scenes, because I'm not doing jack shit.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But it's good. I enjoy it most of the time.
The whole kids these days, they just want to do this, this, and this. Yeah, no, you're correct. It's hard.
Yeah, it seems like a good idea. I don't recommend it.
Isn't one of your, isn't the title of your memoir going to be It Seemed Like a Good Idea at the Time?
Yes.
And I think this put this on it.
I was going to say this podcast will definitely be one of those things that falls under that.
And see, at the very beginning, I said, no, thank you. And you said, come on, it'll be great. It'll be fine. And I'm like, okay, now look where we are.
Yeah.
4 years later.
We're coming up on our 4-year anniversary. I don't know in recording time where this falls into that, but very close.
I have absolutely no idea.
No, and it's okay. It happens like the 3rd week of February is our anniversary. So.
Yes, because I think the first one was February 17th.
Something like that, yeah.
For some reason, that's sticking out in my head.
So, yeah, so we'll have an anniversary coming up, 4 years. Crazy. I know.
Absolutely insane.
But look for, if you don't already follow our Pink Kink Boutique, our Etsy shop, keep an eye out for it because I will be posting an anniversary sale on there.
Woo!
So get things while you can.
All right. Hey, look, shtick.
There we go. There's a shtick.
I did
So
it.
today's episode came about not social media. I know. I feel like I need to tell people that. Maybe it's a drinking game or something when I say it's not social media you drink, or
No,
so
no,
you're
no, no, no,
safer.
no, no.
Well, I didn't say drink alcohol. You can drink water.
Drink water every time Rara mentions social media.
There we go.
Oh my God, we're going to have people peeing all over the car.
As long as they don't pee on us.
Yeah, no water sports, people. No, thank you.
Yeah.
On your own time, that's fine, but that's not Rara's and my kink.
But one of the things that you hear a lot, right, when you introduce yourself to new people, it tends to come up how long you've been in the kink lifestyle. I know it's on my bio. I know it's on Dara's bio. And everybody likes to talk about it. And that's great. And I'm not saying don't. But some people use that information kind of to say, I'm credible. I know what I'm doing because I've been in the lifestyle, X number of years.
Wait. Can I say it?
Go ahead.
It's been 23 years.
You're going to talk like that voice the whole time?
I'm actually kind of enjoying it, so probably.
All right. Right. And 23 years sounds impressive, doesn't it? That's a long time.
Actually, yes, it does.
Okay.
I sound venerated.
There you go.
She's like,
look at you with the fancy word.
Yes. I mean, I do work with words. Occupational hazard.
There you go. But years don't automatically equal skill or care or growth or even knowledge, right? Dara's been in this lifestyle 23 years. She can tell you a hell of a lot about electro, but ask her about impact or ask her about, needles, teeny amounts, anything that she's just accidentally absorbed from listening to me.
Basically, yeah. So impact, you get hit or you hit, which, based on my childhood, I probably should be really good at that because I was the hit first, ask questions later kind of person. I kind of still am. And let me think. Needles, pokey, stabby, blood. That's it.
Perfect.
No, thank you.
I understand why you would want to know how long someone's been in this lifestyle. And I still think it's absolutely okay to ask. But this episode's really about learning the difference between time and experience and how to figure out when somebody tells you about their time in the lifestyle, if that translates to experience or not, and to look for those red flags. Because I know Voldemort did this with me. Predators can use their amount of time that they've been in this lifestyle to kind of get their prey because they can say, oh, I've been in this lifestyle a long time. I know. Come sit with me and I'll teach you.
Come sit on my lap and I'll teach you what my 20 years in the lifestyle has taught me.
Now, being around for all these years doesn't actually mean the same thing as doing the work, right? Like you can attend parties for years and never actually participate in a scene. You can lurk in chat groups or on online forums and never type anything in. You could watch scenes, but not really dissect them and learn from them. As Dara has proven, if you hang around with people long enough, you can learn the right language so you can fake your way through shit, but you don't actually know stuff.
Don't I sound like I know what I'm talking about, though? Because, how long have I been hanging out with you? Somebody asks me about needles and I say pokey, stabby, blood shit. And, man, I sound like a goddamn genius and I could teach a class on needles.
I'm going to talk about stuff like that a little bit later. Not you teaching about needles, but similar concepts.
Let's get one thing straight. I will never, ever teach about needles.
Oh my God, it just reminds me of the TikTok guy. Let's get one thing straight and two things gay. I love him.
I love that one. Oh my God, he's so funny.
But doing all this is great, and I'm not saying, I don't want this episode to come across like we're judging you if that's what you do. Because everybody gets to find their own comfort level and do only those things that they want to and that they're okay with doing.
Well, see, here's the thing. It kind of, when you say stuff like that, I've been in the scene for 5 years. When you've been doing your job for 5 years, you kind of expect a certain level of expertise. And I think that's where people go with this. That's the thought process.
Absolutely.
But if you're really bad at your job and you don't actually do anything, then that years of experience aren't going to mean anything.
No. And just because you've done all these things doesn't mean you've actually developed any real skills.
Or technique or anything.
Yep. Passive experience feels like real experience, but it really isn't. It's a kind of experience, but it's not necessarily the experience I would want from somebody that I'm going to bottom for. Some people, like Dara, they find one thing that feels safe and comfortable to them, and they stick to that. And that's great because it makes her happy. But even I have been pulling her out of that by making this poor woman learn how to do electro impact.
And you know what? It worked because I have an absolutely fantastic time doing it because of that. Because I branched into electro impact, I am now branching into electro sharps.
Which is
So I
perfect.
get to do, right, it is. I get to do a whole bunch of different things, but still within my comfort zone. So I feel like I know what I'm doing.
And you do. I mean, you've practiced, you learn, you talk to people who've got more experience in things and you learn from them. You are doing everything that I would expect somebody to do.
Right. And, then somebody handed me a sword and said, go. And I was like, okay.
If you want to
Sword.
If you want to grow in this lifestyle, it's going to require leaving those familiar, comfortable patterns sometimes and accepting that maybe you're trying something new and you're not going to be really good at it when you start. And that can be scary, and I get that. Staying safe is really important. We as human beings like to stay safe, but that's different from never stretching yourself and trying other things.
Okay, well, choice of words, because, stretching yourself in kink has different connotations.
Not talking sexual.
Well, neither was I. Fisting doesn't necessarily need to be sexual. Wait, what?
This came up in a conversation. I want to give a shout out to our friends at Loving BDSM. They just recently did a Reddit episode. And one of the things they were talking about was this woman had orgasms every night after she and her husband played. She would have solo orgasms, and it bothered her husband. And Kayla and JB were talking about the fact that orgasms aren't necessarily even sexual. Like it's almost
I read that one.
It's almost like medicinal.
It's melatonin almost, because it releases the endorphins, and then after the endorphins go, you get sleepy, and it sort of knocks you out.
Exactly. So even orgasms aren't always sexual.
Right. So what I said was entirely correct.
You are correct.
And I did read that one. Man, the people in the comment section ripped that guy to shreds.
Oh, sorry, I missed that.
Oh, I'll send it to you. It was really, really awesome.
But growth doesn't need to be something huge, right? Like Dara doesn't need to take up needles to grow. It could be something as simple as trying a new negotiation style or playing with somebody new or taking a class that challenges you or even just asking for feedback from people that you have done a scene with and then taking that information that they gave you and making adjustments to your style. But a lot of people rely on how many years I've been in this lifestyle as a flex, because saying how many years I've been doing this is a whole lot easier and much harder to question than giving you specifics about how many scenes I've done. And if somebody says, I've been in this lifestyle 15 years, it doesn't necessarily invite a follow-up. People just kind of nod their head, oh, wow, yeah, that's cool. And how many years you've been in this lifestyle doesn't even require being vulnerable. Having experience, making mistakes and learning from those mistakes. All of that is so important. I teach in my Your Scene Went Wrong class that if you have somebody who tells you they've never had a scene go wrong, they're either brand new or they're lying.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, not everybody's going to start from the same place when they get into this lifestyle or get to continue to grow into the same space. I have been extraordinarily fortunate. We have an extremely kinky community here, right? Dar and I get to go to the dungeon regularly, get to go to house parties regularly, and get to go to munches regularly. Not everybody has that luck, unfortunately. There might not be a dungeon nearby, or even if there's a dungeon, they don't have transportation to get to the dungeon. Or, as we all know, money, especially right now, money is tight. You don't
Yep.
have money for classes. Or you don't have you have a small local kink community where you've pretty much gone through everybody in the community and it's not worked. But a lack of access doesn't necessarily equal a lack of interest or care. So I've talked to people when they said somebody who maybe doesn't go to dungeons, they just do scenes at home with their partner. And you look at them and you think, oh, well, they should never really be teaching a class. What could they possibly be teaching a class about? They don't have experience in all this great stuff. But they've really mastered this amazing technique for spanking. And they could teach that because that's something they have mastered through effort and care, even if they're not necessarily going to the dungeon. I have a friend who has now decided to take on the mantle of kink educator. And she's relatively new. And that's fine if she wants. Look, we all know anybody can call themselves a kink educator. There's no rules, no certificates you get. But that doesn't mean because she's newer that she doesn't have good information to share. You just talk about it as a newbie.
Yeah, it's just a different perspective.
Your path doesn't need to look like everyone else's. And so comparing your years to somebody else's years, I don't necessarily recommend that. I know Dara's been in this lifestyle longer than me, but I have done a fuck ton of shit.
You've actually done more than I have. Like, as if we're going to count it like that, I was more small town. So first I was too young to really know where anything was. And it was more just private scenes and just kind of exploring. And then I was in a very small town and there wasn't a whole lot of stuff there. I would say I didn't really join the scene itself, like as a whole, as we consider it here, until I moved back here. And that was 2015. So probably only about 10 years now. And even then, like the thing that I really heavily focused on was just electro for the first, 7 years?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah.
As far as experiencing more stuff, it's definitely you.
I got really lucky. I'd only been in the lifestyle about a year when I became friends with somebody who was a dungeon monitor at a Baltimore Playhouse. And he was going up to the dungeon every Friday and every Saturday to work as a dungeon monitor. So I got to tag along. So I was going twice a week, every week, all month. And during those times, I wasn't just watching. I was actively participating. I tended to do 3 scenes every night I went.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Right? So that's 6 scenes a weekend times 4. God, there's math here. 24, right? There's 24. I did that. I'm so proud of myself.
What?
6
No, my
times
brain
4 is
broke.
24.
No, I know that, but my brain is still broken. Stop it.
I'm sorry. I won't do math. I'll try not to do math. I'm just going to say this one thing. That quickly added up. Haha, there we go.
You're so punny.
I know. And so my learning wasn't just theory. My learning was actual repetition and experience. And so the things that I got to learn firsthand with it in my first, well, this was technically now my second year of being the lifestyle, is that bodies respond differently and pain tolerances vary. One of my funniest memories is, so the dungeon monitor, his girlfriend and I became friends. And so he was off duty and he had gotten a brand new flogger. So we had the two of us leaning over a massage table and he was hitting us with the flogger, but he was going light hit, light hit, light hit, whack on me. And it just light hit, whack. And it was the funniest thing because there was, right, each end of the spectrum was happening here. I learned that mood and headspace matter. Hence the reason I had to call red because my hair got messed up and ruined my headspace. I learned.
Only you.
Yeah, only me. I learned through trial and error and mistakes. So lots of errors. That negotiation isn't a one-size-fits-all situation. And that it is really easy within a negotiation to fuck it up.
Yeah, it is.
And make assumptions, leave information out, think, oh, I don't need to mention that. That's not important. Hence my forgetting to mention I hadn't eaten and then almost passing out, having to be cut out of the rope. I definitely learned scenes don't always end cleanly because of
Nope.
situations like
Especially
that.
your
right?
scenes.
Especially mine. And I learned about aftercare and the fact that I don't need it. Because that's the only way to really, how else would I know I don't need aftercare unless I'm doing scenes? And I'm comparing doing scenes with aftercare, doing scenes without aftercare, and seeing if there's a difference in what I need and what I don't need. And doing that many scenes constantly obviously forced me to grow and helped me get faster pattern recognition and really gave me experience that if I had told you, oh, I've only been in this lifestyle 2 years, you would probably go, yes, you don't know a lot. Yeah, I'm going to the dungeon 8 times a month, doing 24 scenes each time I go. I'm
Stop
sorry.
mathing. Are
I'm
you
sorry.
trying to hurt me?
No, but I am a masochist. I mean, a sadist and a masochist. So it's great.
This is
See,
not the
now you
kind
got
of
me
mental
confused.
masochism I enjoy.
Good. But right, so the fact that I would say I've been in this lifestyle 2 years doesn't necessarily match up with actually how much experience I had. And then it just continued from there because then guess what? I put a dungeon in my own home and started hosting parties. So now I had that experience as a host. I was in the lifestyle a year and became a munch host. Now I had that experience. I mean, I really by year 2, I had all this amazing amount of experience already happening. And that a lot of people don't necessarily have that. If I said to somebody, oh yeah, I've been lifestyle 2 years, and they'd be like, oh, what does that mean? And I could say, well, I've done this, and that. That is
I
very,
don't think
very different.
I don't think everybody speed runs kink like you do.
No, it seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah, that seems to be a trend.
Well, and I did the same thing when I switched from being a bottom to also topping. I really wanted to try topping because I was curious. I already spent a ton of money on toys that I would give my tops to use on me, but now I took my toys home. So I get to stare at them in my dungeon as they would hang. Oh, look at my lovely toys. I wonder how that works. And I really wanted to learn what it was like from the other side of the slash. How it would feel to be the one giving and not receiving. And it's been interesting. I really firmly believe having started as a bottom first has made me a better top. I know there's people who swear by, you have to be a bottom first before you're a top, or you have to have these things done to you before you can do them to somebody else. And I don't necessarily agree with that because if you're somebody who doesn't want a bottom, then you're not giving consent to bottom and you shouldn't have to.
So I started as a top.
Mm-hmm.
And
I will tell you, I feel it makes me a better bottom.
Humiliation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've learned that I'm not very good at bottoming.
Yeah. And that's fair. I will say the more I top, the harder it is for me to bottom.
I agree with that.
Now I have a level of expectation of what my top should be like. And it's hard. I mean, I could bottom for somebody who's newer if I'm doing it under the guise of teaching them. They're learning and my body is the canvas that they're learning on. And I can do. But playing with somebody who's not as experienced as I am just to do a scene is difficult for me. But once I got into topping, I had to be radically honest about what my skill level was. And it didn't matter how many years I'd been in the lifestyle. I'm not going to tell somebody by the time I learned to top for needles, I'd already been in the lifestyle 6 years, but I hadn't topped for needles. That was brand new. And we talk about informed consent, and I can't get informed consent if I'm not being very honest with the people that I'm playing with. So I took my class in needle topping and I did needles that day in the class. And then I think I did needles one other night at this convention because we had a couple of extra needles left over. Then I threw a house party And people came, and I had meanwhile started to stock up on needles and creating my needle kit. And I had somebody come and ask me, "Oh my God, we need a needle top in our group. Would you do needles on me?" And I was brutally honest. I said, "Okay, before I agree to do needles on you, I need to let you know I am brand new." And she was like, "Sure, not a problem." I'm like, "I don't think you understand the level of newness I am. You would be my third scene." And luckily for me, she said yes. But again, as this traditional rah-rah methodology, I had so many people that night asking me to do needles on them. And each one I went through, "Oh, you're my fourth scene. You're my fifth scene." By the end of the night, I had gone from only having done 2 scenes to having done about 12 in
Nice.
one night.
So,
in one night.
Yeah, exactly. Rah-rah speed run.
It's the speed I move at. But I wanted to make sure, right, being a top is a great responsibility. So I wasn't about to do anything, especially something like putting a needle in somebody's skin, if I wasn't completely 100% honest with them. Right? Some predator might have said, "Oh yeah, I've been in the lifestyle 6 years. I could do this. I've been bottoming for needles for 4 years. I know what I'm doing." I wasn't that person. I'm not going to make decisions for other people. They need to make those decisions for themselves because that's what consent is about.
Listen, if you've been to the doctor your entire life, that doesn't make you a doctor.
Ooh, good analogy.
Thank you.
I like that one.
Rara likes to say, I'm not a doctor, but I watch them on TV.
I've read the book about them. A lot of them.
Listen, smut books with doctors don't count.
They do medical exams, especially if you get the really hot ones. They do the smut during the medical exams.
See, now that I would read. I do enjoy that.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? They're littles. I could get you hooked on a series. They're littles.
Let's go. Let's go. Send me one. I'll do it.
Okay.
I'll read one. Let's go.
Okay. All right. Got it. There, I think the first one you can probably download free. In case anybody's wondering, I'm specifically talking about Pepper North's Dr. Richards series. And that
Is it on
one
Kindle?
Well, yes, it is. But here's the first one may not because it was so hot for Amazon. They banned it. But if you go to her website, I think you can get it as a free download.
What's it called?
It's called Dr. Richards Little. If you look up Pepper North.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It says Coco Dr. Richards Little's 34.
Yeah, that means it's the 34th book in that series.
Jesus Christ! I am not reading 34 books of any series. You're lucky if I can read 3.
You don't have to. You don't have to read more than 1 or 2.
Okay, so I need to find the first one then.
Yes, it should
I'm
be
not
on her
reading
website.
stuff out of order.
No, it should be on her. Listen, I understand that. Kindle keeps recommending books to me, and I go to find the book, and it's in a series, and it's not and they're interconnected series, but they're standalone books. I will never start in the middle if it's an interconnected series.
I can't do it. Okay,
nope,
so
I must go to the first.
Pepper North.
Club?
North.
I think it's try that.
Okay, I'm on it.
All right. Well, Dara's doing that. I mean, it's fun. They have all of the littles get brought to Dr. Richard for their medical exam to make sure they're healthy.
Okay. Dr. Richard's
little
series.
I can also hook you onto another one that also has.
Why does that one look like Britney Spears?
I don't know. Boy,
okay, well, that's the first one.
Okay, this is a hell of a tangent.
Yeah, well.
So let's talk about this myth of total expertise. That time doesn't magically create this well-rounded knowledge. Let's face it, kink is too big for somebody to be an expert in all of it. Everybody has their areas that are their specialties. I don't even like to use the word expert because I don't think any of us are experts in anything. Some of us may be more knowledgeable than others, more experienced than others, but I would never call myself an expert at anything other than me. I'm an expert on me. That's it.
I should hope.
I would, but I sometimes I forget. It's okay. Right. And here's the thing. Why would Dara ever learn and become an expert on anything having to do with blood play?
No, thank you.
She doesn't need to. She's never, ever going to do blood play.
Unless it's by accident.
Yeah, but that doesn't count.
Accidental blood play.
Yep. We've been there, done that.
How many? Yep. Never again, please.
I have zero interest in ever doing breath play, choking. So guess what, folks? I don't need to learn about it. In fact, I teach about this in my Create Your Risk Profile class about making sure you're knowledgeable in whatever areas you want to do. And don't bother with areas you don't want to do. There's limited amount of time in our days. You don't need to spend time learning about those things you're not interested in doing. Specialization is the norm in kink. Now, you might have some people who specialize in multiple things, right? I specialize in both sharps and impact. I can do
And
wax, but I don't consider myself specializing in wax.
I definitely specialize in electro, but I could say what? Electro and little?
Yeah. And this is not a flaw. If somebody is telling you, I only do this, or all my experience is in this, that's not a flaw. That's not a red flag for you. It should not be a red flag for you, because most people in the kink community do specialize in something. Where people get themselves into trouble is when they try to pretend otherwise. When they try to pretend that their experience is more than it actually is. When they start trying to teach outside their lanes. I would never try to teach a class on electro. I know enough to not get myself in trouble because, osmosis. And Dara's favorite thing is when I say something and I'm correct and she giggles. She's like, oh my God, you're right. You do listen to me.
Yeah, she's really worked up this, what did you call it? Like absorbing by osmosis, the information by osmosis, because Ravra's never actually topped an electro scene ever.
No. And even when I bottom, I don't pay attention.
No, she's just talking to the crowd the whole time. But if I said, hey, Ravra, right now, if I said, hey, Ravra, what's the difference between a mechanical and a digital?
Oh, hold on. The mechanical is more powerful than the digital.
Okay, there's one.
Okay, I'm right.
Yeah, you're right.
That's all I need to know.
There's a lot more, but I'll get it. I'll take that.
Nope, I'm done. That's all I need to know.
Oh, Ravra.
Yeah.
A 20 gauge needle is smaller than an 18 gauge needle.
Correct. You are correct.
Right?
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh my God, wouldn't that be hysterical if we did a quiz where we quiz each other on each other's specialities and see what we've absorbed from each other over the years?
I'm sensing an anniversary episode.
Oh man, we need to get somebody to run it.
Well, no, we can just ask each other like all right questions and you write questions.
Excellent. Let's do it. That sounds like so much fun.
Oh my God. Boy, are we both going to look really stupid. It's fine.
Yes, we are. It's going to be amazing.
It's equally stupid.
Okay, so wait, but I have electro and little, but you're a middle, so you know
you
little
don't have
stuff.
to do the middle. You don't have to do the middle. You can just do needles. I won't even make you do staples, just needles and impact.
Okay, but what are you going to do? Because I've got electro.
I have no doubt you can come up with enough questions on just electro.
Probably. Okay, we're gonna do this.
I have full faith in your ability to do that.
All right, wait, no, I have to put stuff in the chat now. Excuse me.
Oh yeah. No context chat. And just in case, because I got to do this, people. If you want to be a part of our Patreon, you can join for as little as $2 a month. And one of the features that you get is you get to join our Discord server, where you will have access to Dara and I at all time, because we are very active in the server. And one of our favorite things to do is when we are recording, to put something in the server that has come from our recording with zero context and just let people try to guess. And then when they eventually hear the episode, they're like, oh my God, that was it. You also get discounts on our Etsy shop, Pink Kink Boutique, and discounts on our Pink Kink Institute, which is monthly online classes. You also get in our top 2 tiers, you get digital downloads every month or special videos. And finally, our top tier, they get recognized as producers, the people you hear us talk about at the beginning of the episode. So if you want to become a member of our Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/Pink Kink Podcast. Ad is over.
Thank you. Because I just finished I actually put it in the research for future episodes section.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but people can't type the questions in there because then that's cheating and we'll study.
No.
Okay. So as I was saying, people get themselves into trouble when they start teaching outside their lane. They think, okay, I've got 10 years experience. I can talk about, right? I've got 10 years of experience in kink and I've hung out with Dara a lot. I can absolutely talk about electro. No, I can't. Nor should I.
I like that caveat.
Or giving advice when you don't actually have experience. And assuming...
Can you fucking imagine somebody asking me about needles?
My God.
Or blood play? What's my answer going to be? I faint. So,
So sorry.
Not a lot.
I was unconscious. I saw nothing.
I really did. The butterfly. I mean, can you imagine?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. An ethical educator or mentor or just kinkster is going to actually tell you, I don't know. When asked a question that, guess what? They don't know. I am much happier if you just are honest with me and say, I don't know, than if you try to give me some bullshit answer that's not the truth, that if I listen to you, I could potentially get hurt by. Case in point, Voldemort. Voldemort told me that he had all the years of experience in poly. Now, he might have actually identified as poly for all those years, but the man sucked at poly. He didn't follow any of the ethics of poly. He lied to his partners. He did not practice safe sex like he had told each partner he was going to do. And if anytime you try to bring up a question or a concern to him, the amount of times he would tell me, no, you just don't understand because you're new to poly. I'm experienced. I'm telling you. And
so
I
only
believed
his rules
him.
counted.
Right. So I believed him. Somebody who's ethical will refer you. If they say, I don't know, they can either say, let me find out, or here's the person you need to talk to. This literally just happened to me today. Somebody is looking for education on leather and asked if we had an episode on leather. And I said, we actually haven't done that yet. I go, but here's a podcast. Actually, it's a YouTube show. That's a bunch of experienced leather men who talk about all things leather, right? I did not pretend to know more than my little bit of experience with leather, but I did know where to at least direct them.
Rah.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Yeah.
Guess what? Daddy J got me a leather coat for Christmas.
Oh, fancy.
And it is the most succulent thing I have ever put on.
I used to own a leather coat many, many years ago, right? You just want to pet it.
I do all the time. Well, I haven't had a leather coat since I was in high school. So this is like...
all those years ago.
Many moons.
Ethical kinksters still keep learning. I still take classes. Dara still takes classes. We talk to the amount of times I will watch a scene and after the scene is over, talk to the people involved going, oh my God, I loved your scene. I had some questions. Where did you learn to do this? How did you learn to do that? This past Saturday night at the dungeon, some woman came over and I said, hi, are you here to demo needles on you? She says, no, I'm actually a needle top. I just wanted to come over and look at your needle kit and how you set it up, because I'm looking for a better, more efficient way to set up my kit, and I love what you've done. So we got into a conversation about that. That's the joy. And I say it all the time. There's nothing kinksters love more than talking about kink. So ask questions. And if you're with somebody who's not asking questions, that's the red flag. If somebody's defensive instead of curious, like when they don't know something and they get defensive about not knowing about it, versus saying, yeah, I don't know, but I'm really curious to learn about it. That's what you want to look for. So let's actually talk about what you want to look for in experience versus time. What is the code to unlock this so you know whether this is a red flag or a green flag? When somebody's actually trying to flex the amount of years they've spent in the lifestyle, you're going to hear things from them like, I've been doing this forever, or I've seen it all. Or the one I used to hear a lot from Baltimore was, trust me. Okay. What you really want to hear from them is specific stories. Are they telling you about an actual scene that they did and giving you specifics about it? Are they naming the mistakes they made? Are they telling you, yeah, I had this scene where I had this happen, but I mean, I don't like when things go wrong, but boy, did that really teach me. And now this is what I do differently. when they talk about learning curves. When I'm doing impact on somebody new, even if in the middle of the scene they say, you can go harder, my answer to them 95% of the time is, no, I can't. Because I've still got a learning curve with you and what you can and can't handle, what you like and what you don't like. I always say I would rather you walk away from a scene regretting that you didn't do more than walking away from a scene and regretting what you did.
Right.
And somebody with actual real experience can also explain how they changed over time. You've heard me with these stories about how I went from just a bottom to a top, and then how my learning curve went on my needle life. Now I consider myself really experienced with needles, but even there's still things I'm not fully experienced in. I want to get more knowledge in and I want to learn. I haven't learned how to top for sutures yet, but that's what it is. I mean, people who are ethical about their experience and honest about the experience we'll talk about things, the mistakes that they made. Things like, I missed a signal, or the scene didn't quite land right, or something happened that I wasn't expecting, and how they adapted. Case in point, Naughty and Nice and I do fun, joking, laughing scenes most of the time. And one particular night, it switched. And instead of laughing, she got very introspective. And the scene ended up becoming cathartic and she ended up crying, right? That was an absolute emotional surprise, something I had never dealt with her before. But because I've had actual experience, I was able to make the change on the fly and the scene went well. A red flag would be, I've never messed up. Well, a green flag is somebody who says, I am accountable for the mistakes I made and this is how I repaired them. I hear a lot about like the words confidence and competence. And years of experience give you confidence versus competence. Except here's the difference. Confidence is how you present, while competence is actually how you handle responsibility. And to me, I don't necessarily need you to be confident, but I do need you to be competent if I'm going to bottom for you in a scene. Sometimes the people who are the loudest are the ones who are the least safe. I would rather have somebody
that has a lot of different implications there.
Right?
Sorry, didn't mean to bring it up, but like,
no, I just wasn't
damn.
expecting that. Like Voldemort was very loud and constantly talking about his experience. And obviously he wasn't a safe partner and he really didn't fucking know what he was doing. Experience is going to actually show up in calmness and patience and adaptability. So Cindy just reached out to me. I've told this story on the podcast before, but just in case you listen out of order or you're just newer. I did a scene with Cindy and her wife where we learned a very valuable lesson. We already knew her wife doesn't like the sight of blood. We have now also learned she doesn't even like us to talk about it. She doesn't mind the needles going in, but if I actually talk about blood, now we got a problem. And she did. And I did talk about blood, and she did practically pass out.
Hi.
And
what about me?
Well, but I did doing a scene with you when you passed out.
But you talk about blood all the time in front of me, and I am turning green over here, and you just keep on going.
Well, yeah, because I'm not doing a scene with you. I don't have no responsibility.
Ugh.
But one of the best compliments that I got was the fact that I was so calm and just took care of things. And I didn't panic and I just dealt with it and I reassured her and I kept calm the whole time and I was patient while I took care of what I needed to take care of and adapted by getting her into a chair, making sure she was okay, right? That's what competence is. And the reason it came to mind is because apparently she wants to do a scene again in Winter Fire to redeem herself. I'm like, absolutely. I just don't know if I should talk about blood or not to see if that's how we actually recreate to redeem ourselves. So
I don't know how that's going to work out very well.
No. So what can you look for to tell if someone's experience is real or if they're just talking out their ass? Well, listen to how they talk. Are they actually, like I'm doing here, like Dara's doing, and actually sharing stories and examples of things that happened? Or are they just, using titles? Yeah, so I'm a top and I do this. Are they showing a curiosity about trying to learn more, to grow? I don't care how many times you've been doing something, there's still better ways of doing things. And you can get better about it.
Absolutely there is.
Right? Are they
willing? You
willing?
think Rara and I just sit back and rest on our laurels and don't learn new techniques all the time? you are mistaken.
One of my favorite things is to peruse. There's a particular person on FetLife. Dara, I'm not even going to say the name because you cannot look them up because you just can't. Because there's stuff on there even I go, ooh, so don't.
Yeah, no, thank you.
But I follow their pictures and see what they've done so that I can get ideas and learn. I'm like, some of the stuff I didn't even know that was possible. And apparently it is. Go figure. I'm going to be at Winter Fire. Yes, I am teaching 2 classes. I will also be taking classes. Because even if I'm having a class with somebody who maybe hasn't been in the lifestyle as long as I have, doesn't mean that they don't have a great wealth of knowledge because of their actual experience, because of their competence. And maybe they have a different way of doing things than I do. And it doesn't mean my way's wrong or their way's wrong. It's just different. And I could do both of them and have more fun. Some of the questions I would suggest you ask somebody is things like, what kinds of play do you enjoy the most? And if they come back and say impact is a hell of a broad category. I would say from there, what kind of impact? What kind of tools do you like? Because there's also a world of difference between being a spanko and having canes and floggers and paddles.
There's a difference between canes and floggers. I know
look at
people that
you.
love floggers and and won't even touch canes.
Exactly. So you need to really kind of pull more information out of it from them. When they say, I like impact, well, what specific about impact? And then ask them the question, why? Dar's favorite thing, why? Why do you like it? Because that's also going to show you some red flags if they start talking about the power and the control versus the sensation or, and right? Like I know doms like the power and the control, and I'm not saying that is a bad thing, but you know what I mean when you can see in their eyes and their tone of voice that they want to really hurt you for all the wrong reasons. Ask, how did they learn that? There's a big difference between I learned it because I read a book versus I learned it because I took a class versus I learned it because I sat down with somebody who is experienced in this and they taught me. And that doesn't mean that all 3 of those ways aren't excellent ways to learn things, right? I can learn about my bloodborne pathogen rules from a book. I can learn about it from a class. And I can learn about it from sitting down with somebody with years of experience and watch what they do, ask questions, and have them tell me what they're doing.
But you know what you cannot just learn from a book?
What can I not just learn from a book?
Needles.
Exactly. I cannot learn how to put the needle into the body from a book. I can learn it from a class, and I did. But guess what? The first half of the class, we talked. The second half of the class, we did. So it's important to ask, how did they learn that? You could definitely talk about aftercare, especially if you're somebody who needs aftercare. Remember, if you need aftercare, it is your responsibility to make sure you get it. And so talk to them about that. And ask open-ended questions like, what's something you've changed over time? What's something you do differently now that you have experience than you used to, and why did you change it? See if they're open to feedback. Do they, like a teacher? We just talked about this, and I think it's the episode about the cons. I had somebody come up to me and offer feedback on my class, some amazing constructive criticism, not even criticism, a critique of something that I really should add to the class to make it even better. And it was a brilliant suggestion. I absolutely would welcome feedback. Do they credit their sources if they're teaching about something? I will talk about the fact that when I'm teaching, I will very specifically say, this was me, this happened to me, or this happened to a friend who told me about it, because it's going to be different. Are they staying current with evolving norms, like the fact of language has changed, a bunch of other stuff? I know, Dara, right? I would imagine the electro you learned back then and the electro now is not exactly the same.
No, it is not. So things like, I was just thinking of one. Like when I first started out, I didn't know about asking about copper IUDs.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally learned that one from experiencing someone getting shocked on a copper IUD at a party.
The hard way. A lot of lessons are taught the hard way.
Well, let me point out, it wasn't me actually doing it. I was there, but I did not actually do this, just so we're clear. But I did watch it happen and I went, oh shit, okay, that's something we need to be aware of. And I have since added it to my repertoire.
Yeah, I learned the hard way about food and drink before scene. I learned the hard way. I now ask. I did this all this weekend. I now ask my needle bottoms, have you had, not only have you had some food and some water, but have you had any alcohol or any of the marijuana? Because I won't do the scene with them then. So yeah, so I've learned different ways of doing things.
Do you remember when we learned not to do electro before impact?
Yes. Yeah.
Other way around is okay, but don't do electro before impact.
So some of the red flags that you are going to be looking for is things like they're using their years as almost like a weapon. You're trying to tell them something and they're like, sorry, I've been in the lifestyle longer than you. I know more than you.
Yeah, no.
Because that's
Immediate no.
bullshit. First of all, you're the expert on you. So I don't care how many damn years they've been in the lifestyle. They can't speak for you. So if I'm telling you what I like and what I don't like, you don't get to tell me I'm wrong. And if I tell you that I need a warm up this way, and then you can do that, don't tell me I'm wrong. That's not the way to do a warm up. I hate that. Are they shutting down questions? You're trying to ask questions and get more of a background. I mean, let's face it, when you're vetting somebody, you are interviewing them. It's a job interview. And the job is either your partner or to be in a scene with you. It is an interview. And so you're going to ask questions and open-ended questions. And if their attitude is, well, that's not important to this discussion, or, you know, we've been doing this how long? How many more questions do you have? This is ridiculous. This is too many questions. Those are walking, talking red flags. And you should be running away from that. If they're dismissing safety issues, I'll give you a perfect example. Rope. As a rope bottom, one of the first questions I ask is, where are your safety shears? And if they tell me their safety shears are in their bag over to the side, my answer is no. It needs to be on you, either in your pocket, on a rope around your neck. It can't be all the way over there. That, for me, is well outside my risk profile. And if they basically poo-poo me and say it's fine, it's never been a problem before, great. I'm so happy for you. It's never been a problem before. I don't need to be the one it is a problem with. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no. Listen, guys, we've actually seen the results of somebody needing to be cut out of the rope harness immediately post haste. We have seen it. You need to have those safety measures right next to you at all times.
When I finish a needle scene, one of the things is I go over with them hygiene, cleanliness, whatever, how to keep the area clean and what to look for signs of infection. Now, even if they've done needles with me a few times, I will still say to them, now you remember all the signs to look for, to be aware of, right? And I go over them again. It is not until somebody becomes a regular bottom that I stop going through those anymore, because now I have enough trust in them that I know they know. But even if somebody's been with me, I did scene with somebody who I've done multiple scenes, but she's not a regular bottom, but I've done several scenes with her. I still went over all of it. Actually, my running joke is, and then I look, after I've gone through all the things, what to look for, I look at them. I said, but I have to tell you, nobody who's bottom for needles has ever gotten an infection. And I don't want you to ruin my perfect record.
Oh, nice. Way to blame shift.
Which makes them laugh. It makes them laugh because that's the whole thing. I mean, it sounds scary when I go over the fact that, look for heat and redness and pus and swelling. Like, it sounds really scary. And the odds of that happening are incredibly slim, because obviously I am taking extra precautions when I do this. I am making sure to keep the area as clean as possible, but it's still a reality. It can still happen. And I just make that joke because I don't want them to be freaking out, wondering that it's going to happen. So before we kind of finish this up, because I know the finger's going to be coming my way relatively soon.
In about 30 seconds.
Yeah. A couple things that will help you. If somebody who happens to listen to this episode and now comes to you and starts asking you questions, think about where you have grown the most. Is it in your negotiation skills? Is it in your topping skills? Is it in your being able to speak up for yourself? Where do you think you might be coasting? I admit freely, the one area that what I would consider my weakest area is negotiating, and not negotiating for the demos, because that's a very simple 2 or 3 minute thing. But when I negotiate full scenes, I definitely think there's room for improvement on that. But I'm not coasting. I'm working on that all the time. Ask yourself, what's one thing you'd like to learn next? And remember, the one thing you want to learn next doesn't necessarily have to be, I want to learn how to do electro, or I want to learn how to use canes. It could be something as simple as, I want to learn the best places for me to take classes, or I want to learn where I could find a mentor. Remember, go at your own pace. You do not need to rush. This is not a competition. And especially because how many years you've been in it has nothing to do with your actual experience. So don't sit there and go, oh God, I've been in this lifestyle for this number of years. I should know all this by now. Because you can't. You just can't. Your experience is going to be built through intentional practice, education, reflection, and being accountable. And not worry about how many years in the scene. It's people are going to still want to play with you. I still play with newbies. I would much rather you be honest with me about your experience. Even if you've been in this lifestyle 5 years, but this is the first time you're doing needles or first time you're doing impact. Be honest with me. I'm not going to turn you away, but I can now make adjustments based upon the fact that you are inexperienced in this.
And let's face it, I'm going to probably go after you more if you're new.
Well, you mean you might want to face that and not scare people away.
I like newbies. They're delicious.
I think we can end that there. I really don't know how to follow that. I got nothing.
Nom, nom, nom.
Thanks for hanging out with us today. If you enjoyed what you heard, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a minute of our fun and educational content. New episodes drop every Friday.
If you love what we do and want to help us keep creating, support us on Patreon at patreon.com/PinkKinkPodcast. You can also support our affiliates to benefit small businesses and us at the same time.
No extra cash? No problem. You can still help by spreading the word about your favorite kinky podcast. Share us with your friends, and don't forget to rate and review us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. Those 5-star reviews mean the world to us. And those 5-star reviews go a long way in boosting our podcast through the algorithm and reaching more listeners.
Sign up for our Pink Kink Institute classes. Shop at our Etsy shop, Pink Kink Boutique. Stay connected with us on social media. You'll find all the links on our link tree posted in the show notes.
Your support means the world to us. So until next time, stay pink
and level up your kink knowledge.